Okay, let's head on to the Netherlands where Malu Francisco joins us live. Hello, Malu.
Oh, hi, Alma. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Okay, great. And greetings to all of you and to all the members of the Iglesia de Cristo who are celebrating today the 106th anniversary of the Iglesia de Cristo. And at this time, Alma, I'd like to share with you one of the things, or let's say one of the successful endeavors of the Iglesia de Cristo is the establishment of the District of Central Europe. This is just one of the many districts of the Iglesia Ni Cristo over here in Europe. And Europe is a historical continent as far as the Iglesia Ni Cristo is concerned. We'd recall 106 years ago that the First World War broke out here, over here in the West, and at the same time, another important event was taking place in the East, and that was in the Philippines, where the registration of the Iglesia Ni Cristo took place under the leadership of Brother Felix Manalo, whom the Iglesia Ni Cristo considers the last messenger of God based on the teachings of the Bible. Now, let's talk about Central Europe. Central Europe is one of the districts, and it takes care of the members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo who are living in four countries, namely the Netherlands, Germany, Luxembourg, and the German speaking region of Switzerland. And this year is actually the first anniversary of the District of Central Europe. And one of their early activities to celebrate is that they held an evangelical mission online, which has been successful, that has invited thousands of viewers. And then this was even followed by another successful event, and that's the establishment or the launching of the INC radio satellite, INC Radio Central Europe, which is serving as the window of the world on what's going on with the Iglesia Ni Cristo in the countries of Germany, Luxembourg, the German speaking region of Switzerland, and the Netherlands. And then in the face of COVID 19, this year is entirely a different year of celebration for all the members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo. And since COVID 19 started wreaking havoc all over the world, the Iglesia Ni Cristo has been at full gear, even here in Central Europe. Online activities have been conducted to help the members as well as their friends and their relatives to remain active, creative, productive, and even innovative. In other words, to stay positive. And today, Alma, when we talk about the success of the Iglesia Ni Cristo, we refer not only to the organizational success of the entire church, but we also refer to the success that is reaped by the individual members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo. Today, we have as our guest one of the successful students of the Iglesia Ni Cristo who is living in Germany while studying. And recently, she finished her doctoral degree in law, international criminal law, in the Albert Ludwig Universität Freiburg in Germany, or University of Freiburg, with the distinction magna cum laude in both her dissertation and oral defense. She comes from a family of legal experts, and we're talking about attorney Angela Leonor Cuevas Aguinaldo, who is with us, who is an active member of the Iglesia Ni Cristo. And she's an officer of the group worship service of the Iglesia Ni Cristo in Freiburg, Germany. And she's the first and only Filipino doctoral researcher in the Max Planck Institute for the study of crime, security, and law, formerly Max Planck Institute for Foreign and International Criminal Law. She's the first Filipina to finish Masters of Law in Forensics, Criminology, and Law in Maastricht University, the Netherlands, as the first Filipino student of said program. She graduated with distinction cum laude and part of the Masters of Law Honors program. For her paper, she wrote East Meets West, the development of mutual legal assistance in criminal matters between and within the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and the European Union. And for her master's thesis back here in the Netherlands, she wrote In the Name of the Father, the case of the Maguindanao Massacre. And here she explained the Maguindanao Massacre as a form of state crime. So this time, would like to ask Attorney Aguinaldo, how has the experience been living as a PhD student in Germany, especially at the time when COVID-19 came? So let's have our lawyer, Attorney Angela.
Hello, Attorney Angela.
Okay.
Welcome to the
Hello,
program.
good afternoon or good evening. Thank you for having me, first of all, here in the program. It's an honor to be here. And thank you, Miss Malu, for introducing me. And thank you for having me here. So it's quite an honor. Thank you. So in response to your question about how was it to become a PhD student here in Freiburg, Germany, at the beginning, I think it was quite hard because as you said, I was the only Filipino or first Filipino in our institute. So it took quite an adjustment. Prior to that, I needed to study German language as a requirement to before flying to Freiburg, Germany, and starting my doctoral research. So even if one has studied really well or in language, it cannot be helped that when I arrived here, there were still adjustments that needed to be made, or I needed to adjust to the culture of German society, etc. But through the grace of God, through the help of God, I was able to overcome them. And then I think one of your questions was as well during the pandemic. It was quite difficult being alone here in Germany. And then during when COVID struck, I was already at the tail end of my research. So trying to fix things about my research, and we needed to work from home, do the necessary adjustments. And somehow COVID-19 has an effect on you, even if you think about it or not. If you work from home, if you're isolated from others, it affects your overall health or your mental health. So it affected my concentration, my focus. But through the power of prayer, probably, or faith, I was able to overcome these challenges and be able to submit and defend my thesis, even if it was in time of COVID. So.
Attorney, as the Iglesia de Cristo celebrates its 106th anniversary, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for that. For one, as we celebrate our anniversary, that we're still alive and healthy. Many people are suffering, and of course, we commiserate with the people suffering from the pandemic, because it's not only a health problem, physical health problem, but it's an overall problem in the economy, in society, everything. It affects everything. So I'm still grateful because until now we are able to live day by day. And that's what I'm grateful for, that we are able to survive and do the things that we ought to do day by day. And I think that's through the grace of God that we are able to struggle and survive the challenges that come our way. And hopefully I'm grateful because I know at the end we will survive all of this, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and that at the end of the day we will come out stronger, faster, or higher than where we were at the beginning of the pandemic.
Okay. Malu?
Okay, yes, Alma. Now, let's just go to the serious side of it about your studies, and this would not take us long. Well, when we talk about law, this is something really, oops, that's beyond my understanding sometimes. But anyway, here she is. Let me ask you, Attorney Aguinaldo, your expertise is on the criminal law, and you've done comparative studies. So what are your observations as far as the criminal law of those countries and the criminal law of the Philippines is concerned? What are some of your observations? Can you give us some highlights, and probably you can glean from your paper?
Okay, so I think in response to your question, I think I can make three main points. First of all, at the outset, Philippine legal system is very interesting to study or be subject of comparative studies because it is a unique system of civil law and common law. So we're very rich in principles and context that when you compare it with other studies, it becomes like a very interesting undertaking to analyze Philippine legal law in comparison to other studies. And coming from specifically from my paper, at the Philippines, even though we practice mutual legal assistance, so for the benefit of those who don't know what mutual legal assistance in criminal matters is, it's basically the younger brother or sister of extradition. But this time, instead of cross-border transfer of a person, you are transferring evidence. The Philippines has a practice of mutual legal assistance in criminal matters, but we don't have any specific domestic legislation on it. So it's basically treaty-based. But according to my study, there are so many loopholes that needs to be answered for it to be very effective with respect to the Philippines. We are making it work on an ad hoc or practical basis, but on laying down the specific guidelines and parameters, there's still room for improvement. And then on a third note, my last note about the Philippine legal system, there are so many issues right now arising from the Philippines because of new laws, new regulations regarding crime, like terrorism, the anti-terrorism law. Coming from a comparative criminal law discipline and as well as a criminal law, security law perspective, this reflects actually the worldwide trend that mixes security with criminal law. That's why it may be questionable for many because it is a trend that is ongoing elsewhere. Normally, if we speak of criminal law, you have already perpetrated the act. But however, in some countries, even if you are already still only in the preparatory phase of the crime, you are being punished. I think here in Germany, we also have that. You can be arrested if you're flying out of the country to join ISIS or join a terrorist group. You can easily be prosecuted for such. And I think this is an ongoing trend that needs the attention of everyone. Not because we have questionable constitutional issues in the laws that are being made now in the Philippines, but we have to take note of the trends worldwide. And this will give us a better understanding that the Philippine law is not a monopoly in itself. It doesn't exist in autarky, but it must be read or studied in relation to other criminal laws that are being drafted and legislated in other parts of the world.
Well, attorney, with that, I think you're giving some kind of stimulus, like stimulating ideas among the law students as far as the criminal law in the Philippines is concerned. And I think
Yes.
you can be a very good reference. And we just wish we could have more time to talk with you about your experience, and you have so much to share. But we'll devote more time and conduct an exclusive interview with you. So at this time, do you have any message to your family back in the Philippines? And I know they should be waiting for you, eager to see you again.
What will I say? I hope that they are safe and sound, and that I would like to greet my family and the rest of the members of the Church of Christ a happy anniversary, as well as the brethren in Central Europe and my fellow members and brethren in Schwarzwald Group Worship Service, District Central Europe. And I wish I pray for everyone's safety and health. So God bless. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Malu, and thank you very much, Attorney Angela. Thank you so much, Malu, for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for having us, and we wish you all once again the best for the year to come as the Iglesia ni Cristo enters another year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, always hopeful. Eagle News, we'll be right back. Stay tuned.